everyone, and welcome back to the Real Positive Girl podcast. My name is Sabrina. Happy Wednesday to you all. I hope that you're having a fantastic day today. Just a reminder that this week we are talking about mentally healthy during the holidays. And today, Wednesday, we are going to be specifically talking about knowing your limits and setting boundaries. But before we jump into that, again, happy Wednesday. I hope that you're having a good day, whether your day is just beginning, in the middle, or towards the end. If you are having a hard day, or you're just having a day where the first part of it is just kind of garbage, just not working out the way that you had planned, I encourage you to do the 5-minute reset, which is to take at least 5 minutes to be by yourself and allow yourself to reset, reboot, restart your day right then and there. It also allows you to just draw a line in the sand and kind of push away the first part of the day that just didn't work out to you based on however you feel about it, even if it wasn't a terrible day. Maybe it just wasn't up to your standards, or maybe it just wasn't enjoyable, or maybe it's just not what you wanted, and that's okay. The 5-minute reset also gives you an opportunity to take a break from any issues, problems, or burdens that you may have been carrying around that may be dragging you down, that may be just making you feel super overwhelmed. And you can also take the time to come up with a resolution for any problems that you are dealing with, whether it is a personal problem or other people are involved. I also encourage everyone to create a list of at least 4 things that you are grateful for. Big things, small things, medium-sized things. You can literally be grateful for anything. You can be grateful that you looked out your back window today and you saw a couple deer out there, which is, I don't know, for me and my family, it is so magical every single time. Every single time someone comes into my office, looks out my back window, and it's like, oh my gosh, there's deer. Calls like the other 2 people if they aren't already in the room and checks out the deer for like 2 minutes. You can literally be grateful that all the holiday big giant sales, Black Friday, Cyber Monday is over. Maybe that's just not your jam. Maybe you're sick of hearing about it from everyone and their mom, and you're just like, I just want to buy my presents and be done. Maybe you're grateful that you finally got your tree and you're finally getting Christmas decorations up and you love Christmas and you're so looking forward to just like really enjoying the next 25 to 30 days, depending upon how long you let things stay up. Or maybe you are just grateful that you kind of get another breather before you have to get together with a significant amount of people for a holiday. So maybe Thanksgiving was a little bit much for you, but you're glad you get like a 4-week break before, or like more like a 3-week break before you have to do it again. Or maybe you're actually looking forward to that. So whatever it may be, you can be grateful for it. It means that your gratitude list always has something on it. It's never ending. It's amazing. Last but not least, I encourage you to feel at least neutral, if not positive, about the rest of your day, because as you can see from your gratitude list, you still have amazing things to be grateful for, positive things happening in your life, despite what you may be currently going through. I understand that you may be having a real sucky hard time right now. You may just feel like your whole life is a dumpster fire at the moment. I understand. I truly do, honestly. However, not to diminish anything that you're going through, but just know that if you spend more time focusing in on the positive, on the things that are going right, on the things that you are succeeding in, growing and learning about, it will make it a lot easier to get through that hard time. It really will, because I feel like we spend too much time focusing in on the negatives in our life. Then we should actually be putting more and shedding more light on the positives, which will make things just better, brighter, and easier to get through everything else. However, I do hope that you're having a fantastic day on this Wednesday. And again, like I said at the top of the show, this week we are talking about mentally healthy during the holidays, and today, Wednesday, we are specifically speaking about know your limits and set boundaries. So let's just jump right in. One of the easiest ways to build up stress and anxiety during the holiday season is to commit to too many events or not make sure your personal boundaries are set. And personal boundaries will save you from getting yourself too deep into obligations and things you don't have the physical or mental capacity to deal with and want to be apart for reasons you're not obligated to explain. Let me say that again. whatever reasons and personal boundaries that you have set for yourself, you are not obligated to explain why. Like, that is just not a necessity for you to have to do to anyone, because they're your personal boundaries. And that same goes for other people. So if someone tells you that they have a boundary or they have a reason for why they don't want to do something, and you ask them why and they choose not to tell you, that's totally fine. That's on them. But I want you to understand that having personal boundaries will save you from, quote unquote, getting yourself into trouble, because when you just overcommit and you say yes too much and you don't throw in no enough because you feel guilty, or you feel like the people that are requesting whatever from you won't like you, which I understand. I am a natural born people pleaser, and I understand the need to want to just satisfy everyone, make everyone happy, put yourself last, really just make yourself invisible and turn into whatever that person wants or needs. I understand that completely. But it's not healthy, and you will someday wake up with not knowing who you are at all, which kind of makes you feel like you're just born, you're naked, you're lost, and you feel devastated, honestly, and confused, because that's kind of where I've been in my life for the past couple of years. So let me tell you, it's not a fun place to be. So I encourage you to try to work on breaking those people-pleasing habits if you do struggle with those. And if you want more information on that, I did do several episodes talking about it. I think I did a whole week talking about it. If I didn't, I will review that and go back and check if I did, because I think it's super important for people to understand that, yes, it might seem easy. It is one of the easiest things to do, just to be kind of like become a chameleon and become what everyone else wants. But literally one day you will wake up and you will not even know where you are in life, what you should be doing. And it can take a very long time to recover from that, if ever, to be honest. It takes a lot of hard work and determination to figure it out, which is the journey that I am currently on. So anyway, enough about that. Just understand personal boundaries, amazing. I talk about it every single week, I think, at this point. And the only person that is going to be able to set limits for yourself is you. It's just you. You can't expect others to do this for you, or to even expect someone to just know you and understand what you should or shouldn't be a part of based on the level of the relationship. No one should be expected to mind read. And I've definitely done a whole episode on mind reading, because it's a dangerous game, right? If you are participating in mind reading and think that you can anticipate someone else's needs, what they're thinking, what they want, the most dangerous part of it is anticipating what they're thinking and how they feel about you or other people or certain situations, because generally your assumptions could be wrong, even if they're based on history and past experiences. Because I understand how we can rely heavily on past experiences and history and what has happened, especially if there are patterns established with those people in our lives. But things can change, patterns can break, and you just don't know. So, but anyway, back to setting limits for yourself. You are the only person. I feel like this is like a tangent, getting off on a tangent. I need to stop. But you are the only person that can set limits for yourself. You cannot expect someone else to do that for you. You cannot expect someone else to already understand your needs if you haven't already communicated and vocalized those needs. It's just unfair. It's just really unfair. So understand that you need to be the person that decides what those limits are and how you're going to communicate them and how you are going to set and stand firm in those. This also means you need to be realistic with yourself on what you can actually accomplish and what is within your means of getting done. You can't just try to, again, be the people pleaser and do all of the things. I understand the drive and motivation to want to be the hero, to want to be the person that gets the gold medal because you were able to accomplish more things than someone else. You were able to save the day in a way. And believe me, I am not coming down on anyone. I am literally talking directly to myself as I share this with you. I understand these issues inside and out, upside and down, but you do need to be realistic with yourself. You need to tell yourself, okay, so you know, for example, for Thanksgiving dinner, I am definitely the type of person that's like, I can literally make the whole dinner. Like, I can literally talk myself into that, tell myself. I sometimes have had the temptation to be like, oh, I could just make it all. Don't make anything. When I know that making everything for Thanksgiving dinner that's going to feed 11 people, that's how many people are in my family, not including our dog and our cat, is a lot. It's a lot of work. And it was already kind of a lot of work. I probably could have taken on another dish or two, to be realistic, with the Thanksgiving that I just hosted. But just understand that in your mind, and maybe even past experience, you can do it, but just understand, what are you losing by taking on all of that extra work that can easily be doled out to other people? And understand that, yes, you may be anticipating praise and appreciation for doing it all, but maybe you won't get the level that you expected. Maybe you won't get the level that you thought you deserved. You know, like, the level that you think you deserved is not necessarily shared with the other people, unfortunately, right? And this is important to note, because a lot of times we can go out of our way to try to do our best, to try to be the shining star without being the shining star. You know what I mean? Where you try to kind of be the hero, and you're like, I can do it all. Don't worry. Take a break. I got it. You know, relax. You know, I can do it all for you. And you're kind of offering it up in a way that you are being there for them. You are helping them out, when really you just want the accolades that come with it. And this is just real talk here. Like, to be honest, like, and if you can't openly admit this to yourself, I encourage you to try. I encourage you to be really introspective with yourself and have those come to Jesus moments and be like, hey, this actually is truly how I feel. So I encourage you, you got to be realistic with yourself. You got to really, really, really figure out, what can you actually accomplish while also enjoying yourself, while also understand that you don't need to like practically kill yourself or come to that super high limit of stress just to show that you can do this really big thing that you will probably get like 4 high fives for, a bunch of smiles, and then everyone's back to the TV. I'm telling you, kind of like one of the worst case scenarios. So just understand that. But today, I want to share with you some tips on how to set boundaries, especially during this holiday season, and protect yourself from overdoing it and getting too wrapped up. So I am going to share with you 5 tips today. So let's go ahead and jump right into those tips. Tip number 1 is to become more self-aware. When am I not talking about this? When am I not encouraging you to become self-aware, be more introspective, understand who you are more? Always. I'm not even going to apologize for it. I was going to, but I'm not, because you're obviously listening for a reason. So, and if you need that reminder as much as I need that reminder, then I'm going to keep talking about it. So anyway, tip number 1, become more self-aware. So check in with yourself and make real decisions on whether or not you can commit to requests and presumed obligations from others. So actually get to know your thoughts, emotions, and feelings. Like, this will help you make those decisions on obligations and whether or not those requests align with what you truly want and desire to be a part of. So by actually knowing yourself, knowing what will make you happy, make you frustrated, make you angry, push you to your limits of stress and anxiety, it will help you be able to make those decisions on what you do participate in. It really, really will. You need to take a step back from the perspective of being the perfectionist and being the people pleaser. Again, I understand how tough that is, but you have to do your due diligence and do that, because once you take a step back from those and actually get to know yourself and really kind of role play in your mind, do I really want to make cookies for 20 people in our family and ice them all and decorate them and make them look super cute? I don't know. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. It's also, it's just, it's tough, because you can tell yourself, oh yeah, I totally want to do that. But then actually like walk through the process of doing that. Think about whatever you're going to miss out by doing that and not something else. Really walk it all the way through. Ask yourself if it's going to bring you any joy without considering anyone else's feelings, because your feelings should come first, and then make the decision. And let's say that you're like, yeah, no, I still want to do it. Okay, go ahead and do it. Do it, try it, give it a go. And then maybe you'll learn the lesson that that's not what you want to do next time, and you need to make a mental note to say no if that ever comes up again. So this is encouraging you again. Become more self-aware, understand who you are. It'll help you make better decisions on what you participate in. Tip number 2 is to know your triggers and anticipate those. So understand what those triggers could be, what emotions and reactions come from those triggers, and the best way for you to respond that will be best for you in the situation that is currently happening. So a trigger can literally be anything. It could be certain people that you interact with. It could be certain things that come up in conversation. It could be just very specific events, places that you go. It can be a lot of different things. So it's important to know what your triggers are, and then anticipate those happening, especially if some of them are related specifically to the holidays. And it's better to know. It's better to not lie to yourself and be like, I'll be fine, which is what I did for so many years. Do not pretend that you're fine. It will not help you. It'll make things worse, actually. Denial will push you so far from the truth and from healing and from overcoming. It'll just make things worse. So don't be in denial. Do not lie to yourself. Understand that you may have triggers in certain areas. Identify those things. Ask yourself, okay, how do I usually feel when those happen? What kind of reaction do I have, like knee-jerk reactions, or do they slowly build up? How much time do I have to exit the situation if I need to? How should I actually respond, and should I respond a certain way in this company and a different way in that company? Or maybe I'm only one-on-one with someone, so I can just excuse myself for a moment, or in a big group and you can excuse yourself for a moment. However it is, it's just important to be on top of those situations, and then it won't blindside you, and you won't feel embarrassed, and you won't feel out of place, because you've already prepared. And it's not as though you're preparing for something terrible to happen. You're just preparing for something that has happened before and that could possibly, maybe it's a high percentage chance of happening again. And that's okay. I don't feel like that's preparing for doomsday. It's more of just preparing for realistic things that could happen. Tip number 3 is to honor your needs. Understand that if you have the need to be with friends, spend time alone, or engage in certain holiday traditions or rituals, that is your right, and you and others should respect those needs. You have to give yourself permission to do what is right for you, and don't let others dictate your needs. You have to honor your needs, you have to just do what is best for you. So let's say that for this Christmas, your family invited you to be with them, and you just don't think, maybe there's been some drama, some misunderstandings, and maybe you're just not feeling it. You're truly gave it some thought, spent Thanksgiving with them, and you just want to get away. So you decide that your need is to not be a part of Christmas. And you decide that you're going to spend Christmas with other friends, family, or just have a getaway, if you're able. And that is your right. And if that is your need and your desire, you should honor it and you should do it. But maybe your need is to not go to specific parties because it reminds you of someone that is no longer there, or it reminds you of someone that you were with and you were no longer with them. Or just reminds you of previous pain or recent pain that has happened. Is your right to want to stay home and maybe just engage in a different activity that would bring you more joy and comfort and calm. And that's fine. Or maybe there are very specific holiday traditions that you need to participate in because it actually fulfills your needs during this holiday season. One of those things for us is to get a real tree. I grew up having a really small fake tree, and then at some point when I was a teenager, where we lived, we had a regular size fake tree, which I think is ludicrous living in Alaska. And then it wasn't until I got married that my husband's like, oh no, we need to get a real tree. Because I can't remember if his family did get a real tree, or he just always wanted to do that. So we started that as our tradition. We got a real tree, and we've been doing that for years, and I anticipate that we'll do that forever because that is now our holiday tradition, to go get a real tree. We don't cut it down ourselves or anything. We haven't done that yet. I think we should do that one year, but we haven't. Typically, we will buy it from the Boy Scouts, or if that's not going on, which I only saw one Boy Scout this year during the holiday season. I understand how COVID has probably kind of messed that up. We bought it from Home Depot, and that's just where we're at. So we bought a live tree. It's now sitting downstairs, no lights on it, because I didn't realize that we threw away all our lights last year. So anyway, off that tangent. So you just need to honor your needs, whatever your needs are, whatever those traditions are, whatever you feel is best for you during this holiday season. You need to honor it and understand. Just give yourself permission to do what's right for you, and don't let other people dictate what you do or what they feel that you need. You know what you need, engage in those needs, and don't have regrets. Tip number 4 is to be calm and clear about your boundaries. So make sure you let people know in advance. That would be the polite, nice thing to do. Let them know in advance if your boundaries are going to affect them. So this doesn't give them a chance to convince you otherwise or change your mind or whatever, but so they understand how to plan, or how you plan to honor your needs and personal choices, and maybe that'll affect them. So for example, if you need someone to come to your house but only after a specific time because you don't want people just showing up randomly or super early, then that is your personal boundary, and you need to tell them that, voice it, and confirm it. So for example, for Thanksgiving, when I hosted it this year, I told people that they are welcome to come to my house whenever they wanted, but it had to be after 11 o'clock because I knew that I was going to wake up early that day to get the turkey in and to do some last minute cleaning up. But I didn't want people just randomly showing up at 9 or 10 or whatever because they're like, oh, let's all watch the parade together, which I believe the parade was on at 6 a.m. Pacific time. So I don't think anyone would have actually shown up that early. But I just didn't want people creeping in the early morning. So I set a time. I was like, you're welcome to come anytime you want, as long as it's after 11 o'clock. And everyone stuck to that, and actually everyone was a little bit later than that. They made their own personal choice. And that was a boundary that I set. There's also another boundary that I set where there are some people in my family that don't necessarily like our dog. He's a golden retriever. He's super sweet, but he's a bigger dog than what people are used to. So I told them, hey, our dog is going to be out and about. We're not going to lock him up at all. And he's just going to roam the house because he lives here and that is what he's used to. And I'm not going to lock him down in his own house because that will very much confuse him. And that was another boundary that I set. So you need to, and I made sure that people knew that. I communicated them very clearly, let them know, and then they can make their own decisions based on the boundaries that I've set. Especially in my own home. I apologize if you just heard any loud noise. It is like a windstorm outside. Anyway, so yeah, be calm and clear about your boundaries. Just make sure you tell people in advance, especially if you do think it's going to affect them at all whatsoever, and they can plan and do whatever they need to do to make it work. And it's as simple as it's as simple as that. I promise you. Be calm about it. You don't have to explain yourselves. It is your right to have boundaries. Just do what you need to do, what's best for you. Tip number 5, and the last tip that I want to share with you today, is to come up with a list of coping strategies. So if you find yourself struggling with situations and experiences around you, it's best to have something already lined up to help you regain your calm, your composure, and your sanity in some cases. So this could be going for a walk or a run or any sort of other physical activity exercise. Listening to music, whether you want to just listen to a bunch of Christmas music if you're around people that don't really enjoy Christmas, or some calming music, or a meditation, or whatever soothing thing that will help you. Maybe you want to have someone on speed dial, which I understand that maybe that term is new for a lot of people, but anyway, you just want to have a friend or someone that you can call that is kind of on call for you to call if you are dealing with just experiences, deep emotions, stress, anxiety, whatever it is. have someone that you've already connected with and you're like, hey, I might call you. Are you going to be free during this day, maybe around these times? And if they agree, then you can just give them a call or a text or whatever, and you can talk to them if you're having a hard time. Or even just having an exit strategy. So let's say that you do go to an event, or you go to a family dinner or Christmas or whatever, and you come up with an exit strategy in case things get too dramatic, too overwhelming, just not your thing. I would say if you want to do the whole like have a friend call you for an emergency and then you leave, or if you just already tell them you have certain plans, you can only be there for a certain amount of time. If you already know ahead of time that you can only endure a certain amount, if something happens all of a sudden, you just tell them, hey, I have to go help so-and-so with this, or I'm dog sitting, or whatever it may be. Just come up with an exit strategy. Or if you just want to be forthright, you just be like, hey, I've decided that this is causing me a lot of stress, anxiety. I have to go, but I really enjoyed our time together. So whatever you want to do, come up with some sort of strategy so that you can cope with what's going on and be able to get through those struggles without just letting yourself dive deeper and deeper into that spiral of those emotions and making the situation worse, really. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast. Again, my name is Sabrina. Happy Wednesday to you all. I appreciate you all listening, downloading, sharing with everyone. You are absolutely amazing. Again, I would encourage you, if you could share the show with more people, that would be fantastic. I am, just to be totally transparent with you guys, trying to hit 10,000 downloads by the end of the year. We are currently at like 8,100 and something, so I would be uber grateful if you were able to tell some more people and maybe they could enjoy the show too. But no pressure or anything. It's just a goal I have. If I don't hit it, no big deal. I'm sure I'll hit it at some point. But I am just so grateful that you guys are here listening and enjoying. And again, check the description box for notes for the show, where to find me on Instagram, which is at Sabrina Joy Perozzo, or my email address for any questions, comments, concerns, prayer requests, feedback, topic suggestions, or just to say hey, hi, and hello. But have a good one. I hope you guys come back for tomorrow's episode, which is talking about not isolating yourselves. But until then, have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.